Welcome back to another UNC Tar Heels football recruiting podcast here on TarHeelIllustrated.com. And if you're watching us on our rapidly growing YouTube channel, that is called Tar Heel Illustrated. I'm THI publisher Andrew Jones, and joining me is our director of football recruiting and jack of all trades, Miss Deana King. Big news from North Carolina football as Joel Starlings, a four-star defensive tackle from Richmond, Virginia, Benedictine School in Richmond, Virginia, has announced he will play football for the Tar Heels. 6'4", 310 pounds, the number 18 defensive tackle nationally in the class of 2023, the number 4 overall prospect in the loaded Commonwealth of Virginia. And Deana, before we discuss him, quick reminder to everybody, you would have known a lot about Joel Starlings leading up to this commitment if you were a premium member. TarHeelIllustrated.com for a 1-year subscription is just $8.33. You need to remember this. The price has not changed in the 8 years I've been publisher. I took over August 1, 2014. It was $8.33 a month. Here we are in May 2022. It's $8.33 a month. Nothing else. You can't say that about any other kind of product out there. Everything is exploding with how expensive it's getting. But THI has remained the same price. So you can be an insider too for just $8.33 a month. Deana, your thoughts on Joel Starlings popping for Mack Brown and the Tar Heels?
Well, he took his first official visit to UNC, and I guess everything, all the stars aligned, and he decided that this was where he wanted to play his college football career. Carolina, he had a big offer list, over 25 offers. He narrowed it down to 5: Carolina, West Virginia, Oklahoma, South Carolina, and Virginia, and had some more official visits lined up, but he took his first one and liked what he saw and decided to commit to the Tar Heels shortly afterwards. Everything spoke to him. Everything about the visit was great. I mean, he spoke about the people, the coaching staff, the players. They're all one big family. And Andrew, that's a common theme when we do these things on commitment. The family atmosphere at UNC was huge. And a shout out to everybody involved in UNC, even the fans. I mean, he spoke. He said people just love North Carolina. So the fan support that they get. I mean, sometimes you hear people talking about when they're on campus, they see these kids on campus when they're on their visits, and they're always talking about how friendly the people are, waving, stopping and taking pictures and everything. So he fell in love and decided to be a Tar Heel.
Yeah, he had officials set up in June, I believe, for Oklahoma and West Virginia at least. So he Oklahoma, that's big. Carolina gets someone from the Sooners, and I guess he's not going to take that official right now. We'll have more clarification on that moving forward. Now, you spoke to him over the weekend before this all came out. He didn't want it coming out, obviously, so we waited for him to announce it, as we always do. And I thought it was interesting how open he was. A lot of kids are kind of hey, I'll do the interview afterward, that kind of thing. He was very, very excited about the reality kind of hitting him right in the face. Yeah, this is where I want to go. This is where I need to be. And he expressed that to you in multiple ways.
Yeah, he was talking about the whole aura around the whole Chapel Hill, the university. It was just huge. It's just he talks about Coach Brown and the staff, and Coach Brown, and our dealings with Coach Brown, one of the friendliest guys there is in the whole business and everything. And, he has a way of wowing these kids and making these kids feel like, they're part of his family. And that's what Joel said. Mack treats his players just like his own son. So he felt comfortable, and so he went ahead and pulled the trigger.
It's interesting. When we talk to kids that transfer out of the program, they say the same types of things about Mack. By the way, Benedictine, if you're familiar with the school, that's where Chris Collins went. And Benedictine is a very prominent school in Virginia. They've been very good in football and basketball for years. Some of the schools that also offered, he chose Carolina over Oklahoma, as we mentioned, Florida State, Virginia Tech, West Virginia, as we mentioned, Georgia, Texas A&M, Auburn, Penn State, Oregon, Michigan. He could have gone pretty much anywhere he wanted. And for Carolina to get a kid like this in the class of 23, I think is extremely important, Deana, because so far, coming into this past weekend with these very important 6 official visits, there were just 2 commits. They were both 3-star kids, and some fans are starting to get concerned. And we did a podcast last week sort of addressing some of those things when we did the first edition of the new recruiting show, where we kind of hit on that. This is a 4-star kid. This is a 5.8 kid. This is a kid who's just outside the Rivals 250, has plenty of time to work himself into that. This is a significant pickup for the program.
And it's right in that recruiting footprint. We ought to trademark that. The Tar Heel recruiting footprint, right there in Richmond. Like you said, a Virginia kid, a state that Carolina wants to dominate. And I think it's really huge because of the coaching changes in the state of Virginia, at Virginia and Virginia Tech. Both of those new guys have been really, really pushing to keep kids home, because Virginia has a lot of talent. So to get Starlings to come down to Chapel Hill is huge, in my opinion, not only just because he's a Virginia kid, but Mack is really, really starting to get these defensive guys in here where he had the last time he was at Carolina. And you got a young group with Miles Murphy. He'll be on by the time the class of 23
he'll be gone. He'll be gone after this season. He'll
but when you got kids like Travis Shaw and Keyshawn Silver, and then you're adding a kid like Joel Starlings and whoever else they get, is building that defensive line that Carolina, every year back in the 90s, they had multiple kids going in the draft and everything. So, I mean, there was maybe a case where they could have said maybe a D-line U there for a little bit during Mack's years. But, I even asked him, we've been hitting that the recruiting may take a big turn, now this kids are coming on campus and taking the official visits, and the staff may be pushing for commitments. But I asked him, I said, now, since you're committed, who are you going to be pursuing? Who are you going to help Tad Hudson and Nolan McConnell help recruit? And he said Cameron Fleming and Paul Billups. Paul Billups is a big-time wide receiver in the Tidewater, and Jamal Jarrett. And Jamal Jarrett was on the official visit, was one of the 6 that was down there with Starling. So they had time to bond. So we'll see if Joel, I know Jamal has Carolina in his top list already, and we'll see if Joel can talk Jamal into playing at Chapel Hill as well, So look like they all had a great time on their visits.
And you can't understate getting a big-time kid from Virginia. You already noted that both programs, the Hokies and Cavaliers, have new head coaches, but they're also Virginia guys. So they understand the lay of the land very well. It's not like they're new coaches coming and trying to find out where the schools are. They already knew where the schools were. So this is a significant pickup on multiple levels for North Carolina. Joel Starlings, 4-star defensive tackle, class 2023 out of Richmond. He has announced he will become a Tar Heel. And don't forget, guys, for just $8.33 a month, you can be an insider too. She's Deana. I'm AJ. Thanks for stopping by.